Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, beautiful friends. And happy Women's History Month. And also happy St. Patrick's Day if you celebrate St. Patrick's. And welcome to another interview where we get to meet powerful women who choose to take their power and take responsibility to create the life that they love and adore. My name is Andrea Berrigan. I'm a high ticket affiliate marketer. I work with Only Organic Strategies here on Facebook. Why? Because this is the place where we can make connections, build relationships, and serve our clients in bigger and better ways. So we're using StreamYard today. So if you're here, please give StreamYard permission so that we can see your name and your comments. And you can see the link above this video. And please hashtag live if you're here live, or hashtag replay if you're watching this on replay. We welcome your comments, we welcome your questions, and we also welcome your love. So tap on the love button. Why? Because when you do this, it will give Facebook will show this video to more people, and so we will have more outreach. So as we continue celebrating Women's History Month, yay, Women's History Month, it's a pleasure to welcome the beautiful Aiysha Hamid. She's coming to us from England. She's a powerful online entrepreneur who believes that freedom lies in the ability to connect and with the power to connect with the power of infinite supply. So without further ado, let's welcome the beautiful Aiysha Hamid.
Hi, Andrea. So great to be on
Hello,
this
Aiysha.
call with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for agreeing to this interview. It's a pleasure to have you here, and it's also a pleasure to be able to work with you in this community. Thank you so much, and let's start. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm currently living in West Sussex in England. I joined the Conscious Wealth Creators, the same community that we're part of last year. And yeah, it's been an incredible journey so far. I'm passionate about a number of things, personal development and spirituality, and I have a number of interests. So yeah, it's great to be on this call with you and celebrating this special month.
I know it's incredible, right? This is our chance to bring more awareness for women and, well, actually for everyone in the world, because we all affect each other. We're all connected to each other, and everything that we do affects someone in our lives or around our lives.
Absolutely, sometimes without even realizing it, right?
Yeah, yes, yes, without realizing somebody's watching us right now. Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about your decision to become an online entrepreneur.
So I think over the years, I've always remained open and looking at different opportunities, and there's always been that openness to see what's out there, to see what options there are. And last year, I was hit with a crisis situation, and everything seemed to be falling apart around me. And I was in a space where I really needed to generate income, and I needed to do that fast because I'd lost quite a significant sum of money, and that's when I started kind of re-looking at the conscious wealth creators. I'd known Brianna for a number of years, and she'd always inspired me with how she showed up and her passion and commitment. And but I also at the same time, I felt like I was always kind of looking from the sidelines, thinking that's something that she's doing and I couldn't possibly do for a number of reasons. And then life changed, I had to take, well, I chose to take responsibility, and I made a decision to finally join.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, I it's interesting that you say that you were looking from the sidelines, and and you were hoping that you could do something. And welcome, Sapeta. She's live from Germany. Look at her.
Hi.
Hi, Sapeta. Thank you for being here. We love your presence. Thank you. So, um, once you made that decision, was it a smooth transition? What did it feel like for you once
It
you
felt
made
like
the
a
decision?
stretch. It's like, yeah, hindsight is a wonderful thing. So it was definitely a stretch making the decision and jumping in. You know, there was all sorts of fears and doubts and worries that can come with like a new beginning, right? Because the anticipation that can come with that, not quite knowing how it's going to work out. But at the same time, that that glimmer of hope as well and the excitement that was definitely there as well. And so yeah, I jumped in. I really jumped in and I really embraced what Brianna was offering us, and I just followed what she shared to a T, really, despite the fear. It got to the point where I really had to put that to one side. So although it was there in the background, I could definitely feel its presence, but it was about remaining focused. Yeah.
So, feel the fear and do it anyway. Not asking why, but actually taking those, really trusting in the process.
Yeah, trusting and having faith, because I think it's very rarely that someone kind of, just flows in with no fear or hesitation. There always is an element of that to some extent. But it's really about believing in ourselves, because the fact at the end of the day, if someone else can be successful in the online space, there's nothing stopping anyone else as well, right? That's the bottom line.
Yes, I love it. I love that. This just reminded me of last year. My brother and I went to Costa Rica, and we were near this waterfall, and then one of the guides, he said, "Oh, you can go. You can jump off the waterfall," and I was like, "You can?" And I was just like, I was looking at the waterfall, and they said, "Yeah, lots of people jump off the waterfall." And my brother said, "Well, if other people can do it, then I can do it too." I tried it, I couldn't do it. I have fear of falls, and I just couldn't do it. I got to the top, that I just couldn't jump. But my brother and my daughter, they said, "Well, if they said that other people can do it, then we can do it too." So yeah, it's just that mentality, that mindset, the growth mindset. I still have to work on that. Jumping off the cliffs. But yeah, that's incredible. It's that mindset, the growth mindset, that, hey, if I have a desire to do something, I can do it. I can do it despite the fear, despite the whatever limiting beliefs that I might have. Yeah, that's
Yeah, and those
what.
can build up over the years, and we might even feel we have, like quite valid reasons why we shouldn't move on and try something new, especially in the online space. But yeah, that was a great example of what you've just shared. It's there's so many possibilities and options out there, and especially when you're part of this community, the support that's there, you're definitely not on your own, and that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, the
And that was
support.
a big, yeah, and that was a big catalyst for me for joining as well, because there was a part of me that was just done doing things on my own. So being part of something bigger was really appealing, and that was definitely a big part of the reason why I joined as well.
Yeah, and there's a different energy when you're doing your things on your own, by yourself. You feel vulnerable, but when you're doing something in a group with a supportive community, you feel supported, you feel stronger, you feel uh, uplifted, you feel empowered as well. And Angela says, let's see. Angela, hi. Thank you for being here. She says, "Hello, beautiful ladies. I absolutely love this interview. So much value in them. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for
Hi.
being here. And thank you, Safeta. If you have any questions, please ask away. We're ready to answer." So, my next question: what happened when you decided to step into your power?
Yeah, so it didn't even feel like at the time, I didn't even feel like I was stepping into my power, because obviously I was following what Brianna was sharing, and I was taking the steps and I was being consistent. That was the one thing. There was consistency there and focus as well. And then lo and behold, I started receiving like amazing messages of support. And there was people saying to me that I was inspiring them. And part of me was like, really, because we don't actually, sometimes we don't realize, like what we touched on earlier, we don't actually realize what a difference our presence makes. Sometimes it can be quite indirect as well. And that's when I really fully began to realize that there's a big world out there, and there's so many options and possibilities in terms of new connections, new relationships being formed. And it's not just something that someone else who may seem to be more extrovert or more confident or more familiar with how it all works in the online world. It actually is available to every one of us if that is something we want to pursue.
And we're open to it. We're open to the possibilities. Yeah,
Yeah, the openness is crucial.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, because we have to fight with these paradigms, like you said before. We have to fight with these limiting beliefs, and but once we are able to do that, we break free. We're able to see a new world of possibilities. We're able to open doors, open windows, and just go out into the open air and breathe.
That's it, yes, it's creating that space, isn't it? And yeah, it can feel intense, when we're in the midst of the chaos, and it can feel very real. And the programming and the conditioning that's been building up over the years, it can feel really strong in that moment. But the feeling of liberation, when we step out of that and see what becomes possible. It's an incredible feeling. And yeah, I wish that for everyone. And it's an ongoing journey. It's not a case of that's it, you've arrived. As you know, it's a lifelong journey. Because that fear, that shadow it can definitely still creep up.
Yeah.
And become like a reminder of us to keep the focus and really believe in ourselves.
Exactly. You mentioned that when you finally decided to step into your power and you were taking action and you were getting messages from people who were sharing their feelings and how you were impacting their lives, and you said that that really surprised you. Did you know these people? Were they strangers? What was the relationship there?
Yeah, so when I started my journey in the online world, I was connecting with new people. So a lot of the individuals that were in my online space, I didn't know before, prior to joining. And so yeah, it was definitely a new beginning in so many different ways. And so often, so many of us can be looking from the sidelines, thinking that another person, maybe they've got it in them to do something, and we don't have that within us. And it's just simply not true. It's
Very
just not
deep.
true. And it does take strength and courage to make that decision and jump in. But it's incredible what happens on the back of that. It really is opening up new doors in so many different ways, not just in terms of in a professional way, but on a personal level as well. It really enriches one's life, I feel.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's nothing better than to be able to connect. Um, Sometimes we're able to connect better in this online space than we are within our community, because with this online space, we're able to really resonate with the people who align with our values and who align with um, our inner soul, our spirit. Energetically, we're able to just attract those kind of people that truly, truly are our partners, our soul partners, or yeah, maybe you can explain that better.
Yeah, I mean, nothing beats in person connections. I mean, I love hugs.
Oh
But I
yeah,
think with the way the world has been over the last couple of years, we've all realised that whether we like it or not, this is, the way the world is going to an extent. So it's been a case of just making the most of that. And it can really open up our possibilities, can't it? Because although it's great having a community where you are, if you've got access to that, but then we can have a universal community that's all over the world, and that can bring so many new opportunities in itself.
I love that. A universal community. That's beautiful. That's that's actually true. So, my next question is: what area of your life did you notice the most growth on? That you grew on, that you were growing and that you were developing. What was the area that you noticed lots of expansion and growth?
I think my vision, my sense of belief, because I feel prior to joining, it was quite restricted and it was quite limited in terms of what I feel I could do, in terms of what I thought I wanted to do. But once you step out of that kind of loop, that it can be quite a vicious cycle that we're in when we're restricting ourselves. But then it just really, that expansion and showing us what else is possible. And really, there's no end to what could be possible. It's just really deciding, isn't it? Because there's so much out there and there's so many possibilities. And so, yeah, in hindsight, it's that really that expansion of believing in what's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, like you said, we just get stuck in that loop, and because of our environment, because of our material environment, we feel like we're living in a bubble, and we don't see what's past that bubble, what's outside of that. But yeah, there are, once we step out of that, once we step out of that, get out of our heads and stop overthinking, then we're able to expand. We're able to get out of our comfort zones.
Expansion, that's it, really, and really tap into our capacity to fully receive all of life's blessings, because abundance comes in so many different forms, and money and what seems to be success, that can come in so many different ways, and really changing generational patterns that are not serving us, that can be passed on from one generation to the other within our lineage, whether it's from the male side or the female side. And that's what it's really all about, creating a new reality that's based on our values and our morals, and it's in alignment with our heart and soul. And that is really beautiful and special.
Tell me about that. Tell me about those generational patterns that you had and that shifted because of your because of this chance to expand and to see different possibilities. What were your paradigms that you needed to shift?
I think the common ones were definitely at play, that I'm not enough, I'm not worthy. And there was a lot of self sabotage. The saboteur was fully in action. And in terms of my family dynamics, like I actually come from a wealthy family, but the women in the family, the female side, weren't fully receiving abundance, and were quite limited and restricted. So that is the breakthrough that I, on a deeper level, that I was really yearning for.
Wonderful. And tell me, what does that mean to you? Abundance, living in abundance. What Yeah, what is that? How do you define that?
For myself, it's about richness. It's about having. I know freedom is quite a. It's a word that can be flung about a lot in the online world, but that freedom can come in so many different ways. Obviously, it's the external freedoms that we can have, the different choices that we can have access to, being able to do what we want, when we want, go where we want, that travel aspect, that could be one part of it. But that inner freedom as well, of having more awareness, and really being able to tap into our creative powers to really shape and mold, where we're going in life and what we're wanting moving forward.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, give me an example of how um, people sabotage themselves when it
I
comes
think
to.
to new opportunities. Or yeah, I feel there can be a recurring theme in our lives, and a belief that, you know, if we want something else, that other people might be more adapted to it, that maybe they seem like a natural, or they just seem more comfortable. And that's not always the case. It's only when we start having conversations. You know, I've had so many conversations over the months where there are actually a lot of people who have got beautiful gifts, but they're struggling to share their gifts with people, and they're struggling to earn. And so it really baffles me when I hear the statement that, you know, selling is, people don't like being sold to, because I just find that quite bizarre. Because for myself, it's sharing, and it's about sharing with integrity and sharing from the heart. And I think I'm probably one of the easiest people people to sell to, because if there's good shit, I'm like all over it. I'm like, tell me what this could potentially do. And and that's what it's all about. I feel if we have got access to something that can add value to someone's life in many different ways, then it just seems a bit wrong not to share that and to keep it to ourselves. Like, why would someone want to do that? And so I think it's really about, sometimes we have these crossed wires in our minds that, you know, we're selling and we don't like selling, or, you know, what will people think of that? But it's really about reframing that, and actually and seeing that differently and viewing it differently.
Yes, it's actually our responsibility. If we have something that's going to help somebody else, it's our responsibility to share that, because it's going to help them, it's going to uplift them, it's going to edify somebody else. And that's a great feeling. It's a win-win situation. And Sapeta says, wow, what an inspiration, taking control of your life to have freedom. Precisely. Thank you, Sapeta. That's beautiful. You just summarized it in a nutshell right there. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, wonderful. So, my next question is, if you were to give someone advice about becoming an online entrepreneur, what would it be? Because you just talked about sabotage and about limiting ourselves, and really not, and really thinking, well, that's not for me, or I can't do that, or I'm, or you know, the comparison, just thinking, well, that person is doing that because that's who they are, and they're amazing at what they're doing, but I'm not like that. That's not me. So yeah, tell us.
Yeah, so if there are other people in the online world, and then obviously there are, there's lots and lots of people that are sharing their gifts in the online space, and although they might seem shinier in a way, you don't know their story. You know, you don't know what's happening behind the scenes, and you know, life is full of ups and downs, and we don't know. It's not always rainbows and unicorns for any of us. You know, the lessons are always there, and they come, maybe they begin to get a little bit less or less frequent, but everyone is on their journey, and you just don't know, like, you know, their, how, what it was like for them coming in and getting to where they are. So I think it's really important to keep that at the back of your mind when you're looking at someone else who appears to be more successful or more confident, and also having that kindness for ourselves as well, and not to be so hard on ourselves, because we can just be quite harsh, right? Sometimes. And and just being patient as well, and allowing ourselves to share, because our story can be a source of inspiration for so many others.
Yeah, and we are our worst critics.
Yeah.
There could be somebody criticizing what we're doing, and you know, there could be, you know, I hear about this a lot, that there's haters, and that there's, I hear about it, but you know, I don't know why I have been blessed to just go into this community, this online space, and just have this amazing experience, and feel this amazing gratitude for this online space. Before, you know, before I came on into this online space, I didn't know anything about Facebook. I didn't know anything about Instagram. I didn't know anything about TikTok or LinkedIn, nothing. I was just, I was living truly, literally in a bubble. And I was scared because I heard lots of stories. I heard horror stories that this happens and this and that and the other, and it was just scary. But but once I came into this space, I just thought, oh my goodness, this is a fertile ground for growth, for possibilities, for expansion, for miracles to happen, really, and for people to connect and learn about each other and grow. And so, yeah, it's just it's a matter of perspective.
Yeah, and taking that leap of faith. And that is so incredibly inspiring what you've just shared, because you were very much new to all of these different platforms. And yeah, there can be that part of it, but it's where we keep our focus as well, right? If we focus on the love and the kindness and the support. And I've shared this before, but I've got so much respect for anyone in the online space, because it does take courage, right? And that's why not everyone is in there with us. It does take a certain element of courage to really jump in.
Yeah, I mean, every time I do one of these lives, I have butterflies in my stomach, my feet are shaking, my knees are shaking, and
And
especially when you just start, when you go on live, you're just like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna forget everything. Oh my goodness, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna be stumbling, and I'm gonna be a babbling fool. And yeah, so
it definitely
yeah.
doesn't show, and it's just wonderful seeing you flourishing, and especially what you've just shared, that it's also new to you, and how you've embraced it. It just shows what's possible.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. This is once we open our minds, once we decide, hey, you know what? I'm feeling like this. I'm fearful. I feel disconnected. I feel doubtful, but I'm still gonna do this. It's a different story. It's a different story. You are no longer tied to these limiting beliefs. You're no longer um, enslaved by this paradigm, but you give yourself, like you said, you treat yourself with gentleness, and you give yourself that the benefit of the doubt. Yeah,
And
yeah,
ask
and
for
it's
help,
amazing.
right? Because I think, we're not meant to be on our own struggling. When there are opportunities to ask for support and ask for help, then it's really about taking advantage of that, because, we don't need to be struggling on our own.
And that was something very big for me. I grew up with this paradigm that I was supposed to do everything by myself, that I wasn't supposed to ask for help, that if I wanted to do something, I had to do it on my own, and so that was huge, huge. The saboteur was there for me, and it still is, and I have to remind myself, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach out. Yes, you can do it.
Yeah, and it can be a really exhausting place to be, right? Because it doesn't make us feel fully alive. And any time that we're in our comfort zone, and although it might seem easier, but in some ways it's not easy at all, because you don't feel fully alive, right? That's the experience I've had when I'm really kind of limiting myself, and there's just it's just not worth it.
Exactly, and that brings me to that idea that in order for us to be able to receive, well, in order for us to be able to give fully and wholeheartedly, we have to be able to receive as well. And if we're resistant to receiving, then we're also stopping that giving. There's a resistance, and there's something is not in alignment. And
Yeah.
Sepeta says, you both are doing a phenomenal job. Keep shining your light. Thank you, Sepeta. You're beautiful. And you are doing a phenomenal job as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, so my next question, um, what makes this program unique as compared to other programs you've tried and tested? Because you've tried other programs, you've tried doing other things. So what makes it so unique and special?
I think what Brianna has created here is really special, and the level of support that's available to everyone, I think that's what makes it quite unique. And when you look at other options that are out there in terms of affiliate marketing as well. I've never seen this level of commissions being shared, being paid out, and the flexibility that's involved in it as well. Like, so many different kinds of people from different backgrounds can come into this community and take and really reap the benefits of what's on offer. And Brianna is so inspiring in terms of what she's created and her vision. It's just really wonderful to be part of something that's much bigger and potentially can help so many people in so many different ways.
Wonderful. So you talk about the flexibility of this program. So who would you say would be a perfect fit for this program?
Well, what I touched on earlier, the conversations that I've had over the months, even in the last year or so, I've come across a lot of people who are struggling. They don't know how to get clients, they don't know how to share their gifts, and financially they're struggling. And sometimes that can come with a level of embarrassment of not wanting to share, and people can have this shame that they're holding on to. So I feel with the conscious wealth creators, it really is a solution in terms of helping people that might be struggling in their business. But even if someone's business was flourishing and thriving, and you're really where you want to be, it can be an amazing gift that you can still share with others, you can share with your clients, because it can give value to so many people, and also people who might not even have an online business that maybe just want to utilize the personal development, that side of it, because there's so much learning and growth. We've all evolved so much since we've joined. And so, whether someone has an online business or not, it can be beneficial in so many different ways.
Absolutely right. And thank you, Sherry, for being here. You're amazing, powerful woman. Thank you so much for being here. And she says, love these valuable interviews. It fuels my fire more than ER. Thank you. Thank you, Sherry. You're wonderful. Thank you for being here. And thank you for this wonderful comment. Thank you so much. Um, exactly. So regardless of what we do, the personal development in this program is huge. It's really, they talk about 95% mindset, 5% technique. I think this is really what we're seeing here, that when we're able to tap into that personal development and to be able to really understand things from the inside out, it's a game changer, really a game changer.
Yeah, everything changes, and it can change very quickly as well if we remain open to that. So, yeah, that resonates a lot.
So tell me, when would you say is the best time to invest in yourself? Because there's a lot of people out there, like you just mentioned, that even if you don't want to become an online entrepreneur, or there's lots of people out there who who feel there's something more out there for them. There's something that they want to do. There's something that they have to do. There's a mission that they have to accomplish, but they're stuck. They don't really know how or where or when or why. They just know that they're not comfortable where they're at.
Well, that's the thing. I think it really depends on how strong the reason why is. And I feel if you have got a strong reason why and you want change, you want to be more or do more, whatever it might be, then personally I feel what's the point in waiting, because life is so precious and we really don't know how long we've got here. And the years can fly by, right? Sometimes I just look back and I think, what happened? Where have all the years gone? I think it's really important to really remain focused and go for what we truly want, because before you know it, you could be in your 80s if you're lucky enough to survive that long. And then, there's nothing worse than having regrets, because at the end of the day, what's the worst possible thing that can happen, right? We can create all this, oh my God, that we can make it seem so much more than what it is, and have these monsters in our head that are controlling the show. But I really feel it's important to really to really go for what we truly want and really make the most of the time we've got here.
I love that. I love that. Living in the present. Yeah, we have to live in the present. And that reminded me of, um, a lot of people will say, well, I don't have money. I don't have the money right now. I can't invest in myself. Um, and then all of a sudden you have a car accident and you have to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Then you have to have the money. Or all of a sudden you break a leg and you have to call the ambulance and you have to pay $3,000. Then you have the money. Or all of a sudden something happens to someone, a family member, and you have to assist them. Then you have the money. So, but when it comes to ourselves, we overthink things and we think, well, no, I'm not worthy enough. And I really don't have the money, so I can't invest in myself. But life is short. It's true. Life is short, and we got to take the opportunities when they come. Because at the end of the day, when we look back, it's just going to be a memory, and there are only going to be regrets.
Absolutely. And our dreams matter, our wishes matter, whatever aspires us and inspires us, it all matters. And we are enough, that we are worthy and deserving of what it is that we want. And we don't have to justify it, whatever it may be. It's simply enough just to want it.
Exactly. And I think that's something very, very important to understand. We don't have to justify that we are worthy. We don't have to justify that we want to become better. We don't have to when I was reading about women in particular. This may happen to men as well, but it's more prevalent in women, that we start off proving ourselves. We have to prove ourselves all the time. I'm worthy. I'm good enough. I can do this. Yes, look at me. I did it. Can you give me some validation? But actually, we we have everything that we need. We are perfectly imperfect, perfect.
Yes.
And yeah, and we have what we need, and we can, and most women have this desire. Like, I've noticed that as men get older, they become more settled and complacent and satisfied with their lives. But women, as they get older, they become more energized and more enthusiastic about life. Men may say, "Oh, I'm ready to retire," and women say, "I'm not ready to retire. I'm just getting started." And when people ask me, "When do you want to retire?" I'm just like, that word does not exist in my vocabulary. I don't want to retire. I want I want life. I want my life to be purposeful, and until until I take my last breath. I mean, that's just me, but maybe, yeah, that's how I feel. I want to be able to contribute to something, um, until the end of my life.
Yeah, and
So
that's what makes you feel fully alive, right? Having access to new experiences and having those new connections and the learning and the growth. Yeah, I can't imagine my life being any other way.
yeah, yeah, the liveliness, feeling alive, feeling, yeah, just fully alive, and enjoying every second of it, because like you said, life is so short, life is so precious. And it's already March. No, it's already the middle of March, and it's going to be April.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's time to take action, definitely. Okay, so what would you say is the vision and mission of this program, Aisha?
So yeah, I think it's to reach as many people as possible, right? Because there's so many people that could be getting so much value from what we're sharing and benefiting in so many different ways. So it's really about stopping that struggle that can be there, that internal struggle, that external struggle, which is just a reflection of what's going on in our world. So it's really about stepping up and showing up ourselves, and really leading the way for others to tap into that frequency as well, because that's really what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Making that decision, making that decision and taking action and following through with that action, just and deciding what is it that we truly want and desire in our lives. Yeah, and reaching out, sharing, like you said, sharing something that we know is wonderful, sharing something that we know has changed our lives and has the potential to change other people's lives as well, and to provide more possibility, open up the windows of heaven, if you would.
It is, and sometimes, we feel that maybe, there's a lack of belief. We don't know if something will work, or it's really a lack of belief in ourselves, isn't it? And it's really having that awareness around that. Actually, what I'm thinking right now, what I'm saying out loud, where is actually that coming from, and what's beneath all the fears and the doubts? And often it can be really a reflection of our lack of belief in ourselves that we can't do something. So it's really about seeing that for what it is, because that's not true, right? We know that's just simply not true. And we can, if we've got access to the same opportunities, we can definitely have the same success as well. We don't know, we can't predict how long it will take. That depends on your desire, and what you're putting in, just like with everything, but so much is possible when we take
I,
those steps.
yeah, I love that because, sometimes people will say, well, I tried that. Well, I tried that and it didn't work. And yeah, we don't know how long it's going to take. We can't just put a specific time frame because a lot of it has to do with what's going on inside of ourselves. So when we fix what's going on inside of ourselves, then we're going to project what we truly, truly desire and what truly, truly it is that we want. And it changes from person to person because we are all unique. We are unique individuals, and we there's no point to compare ourselves with others. And I love that because I worked a lot with children, and and it was beautiful to see how every child is different. Their learning, the learning time frame for every child is significantly different. And so being able to see each person, each little life develop, it's like it's an amazing process. It's an amazing process how each person develops and flourishes at a different time. Not everyone develops and flourishes at the same exact time. And we do that with children, but we also do that with adults. We expect everyone to be at the same place at the same time, and
It's
under the
crazy.
same it's crazy. Yes, it's crazy. It's crazy. And that's one reason why education a lot of the time fails.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we can't be in that box, right? We're all so unique, and that's what I love being around the energy of children, isn't it? It's that playfulness, it's that curiosity, and it really does. It changes everything, isn't it? Tapping into that energy.
Yep. Yep. Tapping into that energy, which is infinite, infinite energy. That is, that's one of those resources that is infinite, and we don't use it. We don't tap into it enough, and that's where we have to say, well, that's enough. Now it's time for me to tap into this inexhaustible energy, this abundant resource that is our creativity, that's our imagination, and that's our potential.
Yeah, and I feel that's the beauty of what we're sharing here. It really does allow us to be more creative, to have access to that space. Because if we're restricted, it becomes difficult, I feel, in terms of tapping into that and having access to that. So it's really about creating space, and yeah, space to evolve and play and create and and try different things.
Love that. You talk about creating space. And Leanne Reynolds, she said, I have to declutter my house. I have to clean my emails. I have to clean my closet space, because she's talking about creating space. And it's true. It's true. When you go into a house that it's so cluttered with things, you feel an energy drain. You feel like, oh my goodness. But yeah, so just like we have to create space physically, we also have to create space in our minds and in our hearts. Create that space for more abundance to flow in, for more inspiration to reach us, for creativity and for questions to arise, and for us to be able to stop focusing on the negative and start focusing on the possibilities of all the solutions that we may be able to find if we focus on that.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. That's it.
Thank you, Aisha. Okay, so last question. What do you see yourself doing 3 years from now? We're talking about life is short, but hey,
Yeah. I really miss traveling, you know. I love traveling and I've been fortunate enough to go to some really beautiful places over the years, but over the last couple of years, I've really missed that part. So definitely more exploration and definitely more traveling. And yeah, do you know, it's been quite intense over the years. There's been a lot of stress and anxiety. And I think the more work that I've done on myself and the more spaciousness that I've had access to, I really want to really enjoy more of that and enjoy the freedoms that we've got access to now. So definitely, I mean, I love Scotland. My heart is in Scotland, and I've lived most of my life there. But the winters can be very long and harsh. So I see myself going to warmer climates definitely over the winter months, and um, and really tapping more into my creativity because I feel we can very easily be in a place where we don't tap into our creativity, and that's when things become a little bit stagnant. So definitely more of that. And really, I love when Brianna shares creating a life that I love and adore. That's what it's all about, isn't it? And doing more of the things that bring me joy.
absolutely, absolutely. We're here to live life. Um, we're here to thrive, not to just survive. And we can create the life that we love and adore. Um, you're a testimony of that. You have been able to overcome obstacles, and you've been able to show up and be an example to others. And yeah, and just seeing your experience, seeing your journey, helped me to also feel that this is possible. We have the power, we have the ability to create the life that we want, and there is support. We can ask for help, and we can find the place that we resonate with, that we align with, that our values align with. And once we do that, we begin to feel more alive, more connected, more significant, and live the life that we truly, truly desire to live. Thank
Oh,
you
that's
so
it.
much, Aisha. Thank you so much for being here. It's a total pleasure. I wish you all the best, and continue to thrive, and continue to inspire all the women that you inspire, all the people that you are inspiring. And yeah, thank you for being here.
Oh,
And
thank you so
I
much.
hope to meet you in England. Are you going to be at the retreat?
I'm not making it to the retreat this time, but I was at the last one and we had so
Oh,
much
that's
fun.
right.
So
That's
I
right.
highly recommend it. But thank you
Yay!
so much for inviting me here. You inspire me so much also. And, you know, I just absolutely love seeing you flourish and thrive. And it just brings me so much joy when I see people who are just getting so much out of being in the online space and being able to create and connect to their heart space. It's just really wonderful to see. So yeah, thank you so much for having me here. It's great, and I feel in some ways it's just the beginning, right? We're just warming up.
Yes, it's just the beginning. The possibilities are endless and infinite. So if you have enjoyed this interview with Aiysha Hamid, and you would like to know more about our community, please connect with us. You can find Aiysha Hamid on Facebook. This is the platform that she works from, and you can find me here, obviously. So send us a DM and let's connect and let's start thriving and living the life that we adore, that we love, and creating that space for more possibilities. So thank you very much for being here today, and have a wonderful day. And happy Women's History Month. Yay!
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.